Hello, everybody. Welcome to the drive-thru. I'm your host, Tony T. We'll take you to the top of the hour with nothing but free picks from our Pick Dog Handicappers. We're here every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, delivering you picks to bet on. And, of course, we have our Pick Dog Cappers now in the green room. We have full show. They're ready to deliver their plays for you. And as we get started, I'd like to welcome the co-hosts that join me today, Dana Lane and Joe D'Amico. Dana, how you doing this Wednesday? And, of course, we just saw the Clippers go down up 3-1 in that series.
Yeah, incredible. And I think anybody who's being honest with you will tell you the same thing. On a side note, happy to hear that college basketball will be back at, I believe it was the 25th of November they're going to start. So that's really good news for, people that want to bet college basketball, which I certainly do. And looks like the Big Ten's going to be back, and I expect the Pac-12 to make some choices, which means the Mountain West Conference will make some choices.
That's absolutely right. Joe D'Amico, Joe, how you doing today? Of course, we got football back in Vegas. I guess the sports books we're looking forward to it. The patrons were there. And why don't you give us a little rundown here how the books did in Vegas, NFL, college football, they handle.
A lot of things went on this week. Obviously, Dana just mentioned the Big Ten is coming back October 24th. Reports are that other conferences are apparently going to be following suit. And surprise, surprise, I want to talk real quick about the college football rankings that came out this week. There's quite a few new faces in the top 25. Without the Big Ten and Pac-12 right now, along with several other conferences missing from the list, are perennials, Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon. How about the fact that the Sun Belt has two representatives in the top 25? Louisiana Lafayette, Appalachian State, a few teams return after long-awaited absences, and a few for the first time in like eons, guys. Miami, Florida's back, Louisville, Virginia Tech, BYU, which, by the way, stands for Bring Your Own, Army, Kentucky, Pitt, all made the rankings. No shock that Clemson remains number one. Teams like Bama, Oklahoma, Georgia, Florida, LSU, they all moved up without any Big Ten or Pac-12 teams around. I did speak to a couple of sportsbook bosses here in Vegas and in Atlantic City. And I want you to know, basically the same story throughout the country. College football week one was as expected. The action at the book was at all these books. I spoke to 4 or 5 guys on both sides of really the country. The action was very good, particularly with a limited slate and really no marquee matchup. Everybody was very happy with the handle and the physical turnout. People are always going to gamble, but with the current health situations, a lot of these books were a little worried. They're a little concerned there wouldn't be a big turnout. They are all social distancing, but they were packed to the hilt from Atlantic City to Vegas and everywhere in between. A lot of fun stuff happened this week in the games. A number of the level, what they do expect in the next few weeks, I should say, they expect with the level of competition and some more marquee games that they handle to go up, obviously. We talked about sharp money last week. We're going to be talking about it later on in the show. Everything the sharp money did, everybody the sharp money did bet really came through, but they are kind of taking a wait-and-see approach in college. In pros, not so much. They really unloaded. The pro situation was amazing this week. By the way, let me just say one more thing about the college. I think we're going to see this a few more times this season, Tony, Dana. The Arkansas State game, we saw some rumors about coronavirus. Right before game time, the line went from 11.5 to 14.5. Some places closed at 15.5. Don't be surprised if this happens more throughout the season, but be aware, guys, if this is a rumor or not. It's hard to figure out if it is or not just before game time, obviously, but try to get ahead of these things. As I said, the pros, they didn't just soar the pro books on the pro NFL on Sunday. They skyrocketed. It was amazing. They handle everything. The sharps did pretty well. The general public made won a few little battles, but they lost the war, we could say. They really did take a bath overall. I am looking forward to an even better turnout this week here in Vegas and Atlantic City. I am on the horn with a lot of these races sportsbook directors just to get the feel of what's going on, because I want to know what's going on. I did have some friends in Atlantic City also this week said, Joe, you couldn't get a seat of the seats that are open. It's really exciting to see this football back, and obviously as the season progresses, we're going to get better games on Saturday, bigger names, bigger schools, marquee matchups, and the Sunday thing, guys, that's just going to fall in line. I'm excited about what's happening, but I will be back later on in this show with line movements, significant line moves, and some sharp money plays.
All right, that's Joe D'Amico, Dana Lane joining me here on the drive-thru. A lot of free picks coming in this hour. We got baseball, we got NFL in there as well. The Sunday night game we're going to be covering. So guys, stay tuned to our show. It's the drive-thru free picks from the Cappers. So let's go ahead and get the show started. Let's welcome into the drive-thru Joe Duffy, longtime handicapper, several years of experience picking the NFL. Joe, how you doing this evening?
I am doing pretty fine, gentlemen, especially if we get some big winners this weekend. You know, we're kind of evading Sally a little bit. She's bringing a lot of much-needed rain to my lawn, but Sally is pretty active in the background, but luckily the hurricane's nowhere near us. I live far enough off of the coast.
Well, that's good news, Joe. Of course, the NFL Week 1, how did it work for you?
Let's just say I've had better ones, and usually I've had some pretty good week ones, but this was not the case. However, week 2 has always been about overreaction. That might hint a little bit to what some of my plays are going to be, but not just overreacting to the sides, but more importantly, overreacting to the total. So I do think I'm going to have some very strong totals plays this weekend in the NFL.
All right, definitely. We look forward to that, Joe. Of course, we're talking here with Joe Duffy here on the drive-thru. And Joe, wanted to get your thoughts here with some of the games that we saw over the weekend. We saw teams like Philadelphia falter. We saw teams like Minnesota. Those are teams that are on everyone's radar. Is it panic time? And how do you factor that into your computer?
Absolutely not. No, it's not panic time. In fact, how does that factor into my computer? As I said, while the rest of the world is panicking, the computer tells me not to panic, that the odds makers aren't dumb. So use the odds makers' knowledge against them. The teams that miss covering by a mile in week 1 are usually good plays in week 2. And I haven't looked it up specifically as far as it applies to the Eagles, but I do know that even though one's gut reaction might be when a team blows a lead, I think it was a 17-0 lead that the Eagles blew, that it would be heartbreaking, it would be tough to bounce back from. But no, that is not true. Traditionally, teams that blow big leads in the NFL actually do bounce back.
All right, joined here with Joe Duffy. Joe, you're going to take a look with the show pick NFL. We've got the Sunday night game, New England and Seattle. I'm showing here Seattle favored in this. Favored at home in this one. I'm seeing some 4s, some 3s. Of course, it's a Wednesday, so the lines are going to be off. There'll be variances in the line. 44 total, 45 in some places. One thing to note here, it looks like Bill Belichick's going to be a dog. 12-3 spread mark here the last 10 years in that role.
Yeah, but again, in the old Brady or Belichick debate, I would definitely go with Brady. Not that it's going to be decided this year, because I thought last year that Brady was already beginning to be declining. So even though I think Belichick will probably be much better this year than Brady is, I'm not big. I'm big in the systems. I'm not that big in the team trends, especially one like that, because I would consider that more of a Tom Brady stat than a Bill Belichick stat. Now, Seattle is better on both sides of the ball. It's that simple. Clearly, this year, home field advantage is not worth 3 points, but one of the reasons that Seattle had such a big home field advantage wasn't just because their fans are great, the high decibel level, but that is, out in the Pacific Northwest. New England's still going to be traveling 3,000 miles, whether they be playing in front of 50,000 fans or 50 fans. So that's still a long travel for New England to be making. And clearly, the odds makers are taking into consideration home field advantage isn't worth the 3 points this year, because that would imply that Seattle's only 1 point better. Well, Seattle is a lot more than 1 point better than New England. But again, this year, home field advantage is worth maybe 1.5, 2. But because of the long travel, I would say in the case of Seattle, more like 2 to 2.5 points. Cam Newton's one of those guys, a phrase you'll hear me use a lot, is consistently inconsistent. And Newton, he had that MVP year. Ever since he won that MVP, he's been very erratic. The fact that he was pretty impressive against a bad team, and now he's playing one of the better teams in the NFL, much better defense, says he's going to have a big letdown this week. So I wouldn't get all that excited about the fact that Newton looked fairly impressive against a Miami team. I think he's just going to really hit earth this week. Also, it's one of those stats that usually does apply like in week 2, maybe week 3. So it has to do with overreaction and how important it is. When you have 2 undefeated teams, the home team is usually a very good play at the rate of 66, 41, and 4 in this price range. And it's even better when the road team is coming off of a home game, which is the case here. So like I said, even if you want to say home field advantage is only worth about 2 points, and as I said, because of the travel, I think it's worth more than that for Seattle. Seattle is definitely a much better team than New England, so I think you're getting a very cheap price here.
All right, Joe Duffy says play Seattle. Dana, looking at this Patriots last week, 42 rushes, 19 passing plays. Cam Newton running the football. If you're the Pete Carroll develops a game plan now, you think he'll be looking at Cam running the football just as much, or you think they'll throw a curve at him and throw more in this one?
No, I think they're going to play to their strengths. And one of the things that really jumped out at me this past weekend was, the mobile quarterbacks in this league really negate any kind of the pass rush, and there was a lot of smart quarterbacks getting into open spaces, allowing the receiver to run deeper routes, and I think all of these coaches would, I don't think they're going to change the game plan. I think they're going to use their strengths, which is Cam Newton's ability to get out wide. I mean, none of those nothing Cam did on Sunday Tom Brady would be able to do for sure, but in this game, and I haven't dived that deep into it, but one of the things that really concerned me about Seattle was their inability to stop Atlanta on third downs. And I realized Atlanta was in third down situation 14 times, which even though they converted on 7 of those, it is kind of a positive because you're putting teams in third down situations 14 times. But their inability to stop them on a consistent basis and their ability to convert on a consistent basis on third downs, I wonder if that's going to come back to bite them against the better teams in the league.
Joe, looking at Pete Carroll and, of course, the Seattle Seahawks, they do face Kyler Murray, a run-type quarterback. Do you think that helps a little bit in their defensive play here against this Patriot team?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly wouldn't hurt. Murray is probably somebody who's an even better athlete at this point in his career than Cam Newton, although Newton's a guy who could still run you over. But that doesn't hurt at all. And Seattle has certainly had plenty of success over the years defensively. It's not like, it's the Legion of Boom years where they have as much talent on defense as they have in the past. But, Pete Carroll has been around. He knows how to prepare for every style quarterback. He's seen guys like Cam Newton before. And as far as what Dana said, he does bring up a very good point. But keep in mind that Atlanta, their weakness isn't their offense. They have plenty of weapons on offense. So the fact that Atlanta's offense did have some pretty good success against them isn't of something that would really be deep concern. They clearly didn't have enough success against them. So Seattle did go against a pretty explosive offense last week, even though, they may not have put up phenomenal numbers. But I do think that they will do much better in the comforts of home.
All right, Joe W. coming in with Seattle. Joe, why don't you let everybody know what you got going on over at Pick Dogs? A lot of action hitting at the top of the hour.
Yes, I do. I think I had one play that just got underway, but I have several more plays for tonight in Major League Baseball. I also like the Thursday. I'm going to like the Thursday night side and total. It's not like I do that every week. Sometimes I pass on the Thursday night game like last week, but this week I'm really liking the Thursday night football and plenty of totals this weekend in the NFL I'm looking at. College football, several sides I'm looking at. But yeah, get my baseball for tonight. Joe Duffy's picks over at Pick Dogs.
All right, Joe Duffy, as always, great having you on your show. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you later in the week.
We will talk to you, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, that was Joe Duffy here on the drive-through. More free picks coming, guys. We've got baseball plays coming up for you at the end of the show. We have some more. We'll talk NASCAR as well, but it'll be baseball and basketball here. And we'll get to a game right now, Dana. Toronto and the New York Yankees will face off. And, of course, the Yankees coming off a strong performance yesterday. Now, I want to check the line here on this one. With Rorik against Cole. Yanks laying about 270. Total sits here at 9. Rorik, a little struggles here, but Cole has pitched well. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But looking at the lineup, I mean, Aaron Judge is going to be in the lineup. He'll hit second behind LeMahieu, and kind of the plan with him and Stanton is Judge is going to play tonight. Stanton's going to DH tomorrow, and Judge is going to sit tomorrow. So that's the plan moving forward if you want to, bet the Yankees or bet the total. But, look, Toronto's got to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and it's amazing what they've done. They've been, kind of, for lack of a better word, jerked around a little bit out of their stadium. You got to give management a lot of credit for going out and putting together a pitching staff to match their offense. And I don't know if they got enough firepower to overcome the Yankees in the next couple of years or be the better of the organizations, because certainly it looks like the Yankees just go out and reload anytime that they need anything. But, I mean, you got to give Toronto a lot of credit for going out and getting a Roark and getting a Ryu and, getting, Walker and Robbie Ray. I mean, this is an organization that really is moving forward, and I'm excited for the Rays fans. But, the Yankees opened the series with a 20-6 rout on Tuesday. They now have their longest winning streak of the season. They've outscored their opponents in that time 48-11. So what a difference a week or so makes. And when we were talking about them, potentially, losing to a team that they always beat in the Baltimore Orioles, and now we're in a situation where, hey, we're talking about them as the Bronx Bombers again. And I think they said it best. There was a few guys, doing post-game interviews saying, hey, look, teams were not scared of us, and now they're scared of us again. And, that's kind of exciting for New Yorkers. But, look, I thought David Garcia was fantastic. We talked about him. The Yankees have a 2.18 ERA from their starters in their last 10 games. One of those was a dominant outing by Garrett Cole when he gave up 2 hits in the second game of the doubleheader against the Orioles, which really, I think, got them over the top, because, there was a point where you couldn't even have thrown Cole out there and thought, well, I'm not 100% sure that we're going to get a W. But, again, this depends on where you are in your bankroll. Now, I'm not saying or suggesting we would take the Yankees and lay the money line for sure, but, I mean, here's a shot with, I think you're getting 230, 240, depending on where you are with Toronto. Totals at 8.5. I mean, that's a pretty attractive number with Toronto, and we've seen Cole get beat by teams before lesser than Toronto. So maybe that's the side you want to kind of lean on. I tend to go under the 8.5, but if I was going to be on the side, it would be Toronto or nothing.
That's Dana Lane here, #1 document over at Pick Dogs Major League Baseball for this season. All right, we'll continue here on Pick Dogs. More free picks coming. Let's turn it over now to Joe D'Amico, who's been 10-2 on the show. Joe, can you keep it rolling here? You're going to be looking at baseball. We've got Cleveland Indians and the Chicago Cubs. Savali versus Leicester. We see Cleveland favored here, $1.15. Total sits here at 8.5. Leicester coming off a little better start. And your thoughts on this one?
Tony, can I keep it rolling? I've been keeping it rolling for 30 years. They've been throwing these young guns at me, and I keep surviving. I keep winning. Not just the end of every season, but the beginning. We're going to talk about some records in a minute, but you mentioned it. 10-2 on my free plays right here on the Pick Dogs 3 p.m. show. I had to miss Monday show. I missed everybody, missed the panel, missed all the viewers. But, guys, I want to talk about Savali and Leicester right now. The Indians cross leagues to play the Cubs. Sports fans, the coldest team in baseball, the Cleveland Indians. They've dropped 7 straight, including last night's very strange series opener, 6-5. If you watched it, if you didn't, maybe it was hit by a pitch in the bottom of the ninth to force in a run. The Cubs have taken all 3 meetings over the Tribe this season by a combined score of 20-7. They certainly can score runs on this team. John Lester, 2-2 with a 5.05 on the campaign. We've seen better numbers from him in the past, but folks, he's already faced and beat Cleveland a little more than a month ago to bring his career record in 18 starts versus the Indians, 8-3 with a 2.90. Aaron Savali, 3.5. Let me try that one more time. Those hooked on phonics books, still waiting for them in the mail. 3-5 with a 3.88. But guys, he's on a cold streak. Winless in his last 4 starts. 0-3 with a no decision. I want to give you some stats here. I'm a big stats guy. 0-4 the last 4 on the roads. The Indians are 0-7 the last 7 games played on grass. 0-6 the last 6 interleague contests versus teams with a winning record. Let's flip it. The Cubs 4-1 the last 5 at home. 22-8 the last 30 interleague games at home, and 5-2 the last 7 versus right-handed starters. Once again, guys, baseball is streaky. Cleveland 0-3 this season versus Chicago, and ice cold 0-7 their last 7 coming into this game. Take the Cubs, and you're going to take the money.
All right, that's Joe D'Amico here on the drive-through. And, of course, Dana, we're looking at I can't argue with Joe on this one. I like the Cubs in this one. Leicester showed a little better. Savali having a little rough spot here last 3 starts. How do you see this one, Cubs, Indians? Of course, Indians, they're 28th in runs scored this year.
Yeah, I think John Lester's made some adjustments to his mechanics. I mean, his motion to the plate is just a little bit different than it had been in the past. And, he has had some success off of a start that wasn't so good He's had 12 walks and 37 strikeouts in his last 46 in the third inning, which is certainly numbers that you can get behind if you want to back him. And Savali's has a 4-game losing streak and really has not looked good in that 4-game series, including that loss against Kansas City. And, again, I mean, I'm not getting excited about Kansas City. I mean, we talked about that, last night. Great. You took 2 from Cleveland, you took 4 from the Pirates, and then you absolutely did not parlay that into a third series starting in the first game of this one. So I would be on the Cubs side. I'm kind of sitting out of this, but I do like the way Lester is pitching. The 8's a little bit low for me. I was trying to get maybe a 8.5 or 9 on this to go under, but I'm certainly, if I had to choose a side, I understand and I agree with what you're saying about the Cubs.
All right, Janie Lane, number 1 documented over at Pick Dogs Major League Baseball. All right, Joe, top of the hour, we got a lot of action starting. What do you have over at the Pick Dogs? You've been hot on the show.
Well, guys, I'm red hot, not just on the show, but over at Pick Dogs on the leaderboard over the last 24 hours. I'm also tied for first in the NFL with another panelist, Mr. Al Ninos. Guys, tonight I have one big play left in the MLB. My Wednesday Wild winner. Go to Pick Dogs right now. Ensure yourself a winning night for just $25 investment. Also, guys, I have made you money right here on the Pick Dogs site. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Every night, the last 5 nights, my football's on fire. I come out of the gate and won just about everything I posted in on the gridiron, including a 3 and a 5 game package. By tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to have up all my weekend football winners, and I'm going to tell you now, you think last week I kicked ass? I'm going to kick ass and take names even better this week. Go over to the Pick Dogs website. I also have season packages for both college and pro football. I have a combination package where you can save a ton of money, but just even follow me this weekend. I promise you this. I'm serious. Last week, we made a ton of money. This week, we get rich. You're going to need to find another place to hide your money from your wife and your girlfriend. If you don't have a wife and a girlfriend, I'm going to make you so much money this week, you're going to be able to afford a wife and a girlfriend. Pick Dogs, my football on fire, baseball on fire, and I'm going to tell you right now, this weekend will be my best weekend yet. It'll be better than last week, and I promise you that, guys. Go to Pick Dogs. Everything I'm putting up is just coming up roses, guys. It's money.
All right, guys, check out Joe D'Amico over at Pick Dogs. He is money, as he says, doing a very good job. All right, we'll continue here on the drive-through Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. More free picks coming, a lot of baseball coverage coming up. We're going to move Dana up here because his game is going to start in about a little more than 15 minutes. We've got the Red Sox and the Marlins going off here. We've got Kickham and Rogers, the prospect for Miami, who got hit last outing. But Miami laying here about $1.40. Total sits here at 9, Dana.
Yeah, Trevor Rogers is going to get the start from Miami. And I think what I'm going to do in the future is just give Joe all my games and he can hype them up for me because I'm inspired to buy packages from Joe D'Amico right now. But in this game, look, Trevor Rogers is a guy that, he's still going through some adjustments. In his last start, he wasn't fooling any of the Philly hitters. In fact, the exit velocity on an average was well over 100 miles an hour. So he wasn't a guy that was fooling a lot of hitters. But, Mel Stoudemire, worked with them by all reports. He looked like he was tipping his pitches. And I even said that to a friend of mine when we were watching his last outing, is like when he's throwing his curveball, he's almost cocking his elbow a little bit. It's not a fluent motion to home plate. And I think he's going to, by all reports, he's going to change that tonight. So hopefully, we're not going to be able to take what we just saw and apply it to this game because I think there's going to be some changes and hopefully the tipping of the pitches will be non-existent. But Mike Hickam is a guy who hasn't pitched in 6 days. He got to start against Tampa Bay. Struck out 8 batters, got a no decision. Red Sox won the game, so he looked pretty good in that one. I think with the combination of Kickham moving in a positive manner, I really like the evolution of this kid, and I also think that Rogers is going to not tip his pitches tonight. So I expect a good effort out of both of these guys, probably a 5-inning effort, if not get into the 6th inning. And if that's the case, the number's a little bit high. I thought I was going to get about 8.5. I'll take the under 9 as my free pick on the show.
All right, Dana Lane says take the under 9 in that Boston and Miami game. Number 1 documented over at Pick Dogs. We hit the top of the hour. There'll be a lot of action going off. Dana, what do you have going on at Pick Dogs?
We got 2 games left tonight. We got our Arizona-Los Angeles Angels game still up. And also Texas and Houston also available. As you had pointed out, number one documented handicapper in Major League Baseball, up there in the overall count as well. So after you win these games, make sure you get involved with a weekly or a monthly or even a yearly pass to ensure your success through the end of this month or through the rest of 2020.
All right, guys, check out Dana Lane over at Pick Dogs. Pick up one of those long-term packages. That's your best value over at Pick Dogs. All right, we'll continue here on the drive-thru. A lot more free picks coming. But now we're going to turn it over to Joe again. Joe, you're based in Vegas. You know where the money's coming, the smart money, the wise guy money. What are we seeing here? Wise guy money, week 2 NFL and college football.
Well, as far as wise guy money, and we'll go over line movements in the last segment. But as far as right now in wise guy money, I talked to a few wise guys, actually 5 or 6 of the crews, just this morning, and I've seen, and they've told me, they portrayed to me that there's quite a few things they're moving on this week in college, and a few games in the pros right now. College right now, Georgia Southern, they're moving big on it. Without a doubt, Central Florida. I'll be honest with you, that line was a 7. It's at 7.5. That goes back to 7. You're going to see that go right back to 7.5 because they're going to move right back on it. Charlotte, Syracuse, App State, Louis Tech is huge. Every single crew I talk to is going to take Louis Tech, that's Louisiana Tech guys, outright on money lines. Some of them are going to take them again with the points. I believe the point right now is somewhere in the neighborhood of 5. I will tell you that I spoke to a couple of these crews that are going to be playing them on the money line. They feel very strongly about it, but they want to move this line down and bang it because it's getting 5 right now. Monroe, very big play Monroe, and I will tell you this. 6 or 7 crews, all of them are going to be hitting Navy and hitting Navy hard, plus the 7. I'm going to tell you now, everybody I talk to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different wise guy crews, sharp crews, are all going to be hitting Navy. They love Navy this week. So being that these numbers, I'm going to touch on this in a minute, next segment, in the line movement segment, be careful with some of these numbers. There's a lot of them around hot numbers. You want to be careful with that. The NFL, a couple of totals, and they killed it last week in the totals. They went 3-0 in totals last week. This week, they're looking at under in the Rams-Eagles, over in the Panthers-Bucks, and a very, very big over. This came in just now, just before the game. Vikings-Colts over. I know that they're moving some money on the Titans. We've seen that line move a little bit. And, over the next few days, by the Friday show, you're going to see some more movement. But I'll have a lot more games that they're going to be moving on and exactly who's going to be moving what by the next show on Friday. We are going to be coming back later on this show with some line movement information and things like that. Just things that I want to keep the bettors aware of that are really very important. But I'm going to tell you, I know that these wise guy crews, they move money sometimes so they can middle a game. But week 1, they were on the money. Week 2, they're moving lines already. This has a bearing on what people play. Just keep an eye out for these. If you like some of these games, you want to play them now. If you don't, wait till later. Wait till before game time. You'll always be able to get a point, 2, 3, but sometimes 4. We talked about certain things, especially college football and totals and approach. They move very easily, and they can move several points. Be a thinker, not a stinker, guys.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Joe D'Amico, on that Georgia Southern with that line with the movement there. You got a 4-year coach there against Willie Taggart at FAU. Robeson left the program. The starting quarterback leaves. No Lane Kiffin, so the quarterback exits the program. No experience on the defensive end. I like that Georgia Southern move. Dana, any thoughts there on the early movement here in college football? I know you're so focused on MLB. You're number one MLB. You're delivering winners to your clients, but have you had a chance to give a little peek here at college football week 2?
Well, I'll give you a little bit behind the curtain at the Lane household. The way things go here is we don't really do a deep dive into college or the NFL until about Thursday. I'd like to have the dust settle. I'd like to, get any news that we would absolutely add to our handicapping. But the one thing I do is on a Wednesday, we first take a look at the teams that I'm as close to as any of the others. And first one's UNLV, and they're not playing, so we throw that out. The second one is Notre Dame, and so we go through a little bit and talk to a few people about, what's going on in practice and mood of the team. And I honestly, the Notre Dame game, it's Notre Dame or nothing for me. And that one, I think they're absolutely going to crush South Florida this week. And I know South Florida ran for a bunch of yards, but even with plus 300 yards rushing, they still struggled to get the victory. I am a little bit worried about Kyle Hamilton being out. He's a little bit banged up for the Irish, but I think Notre Dame, there's a huge leap. And whether we're talking about playoff series or we're talking about the NFL or college football, that leap between 1 and 2, and also the leap between take what you just saw in 1 and apply it to 2. We saw a Notre Dame team that kind of struggled against Duke, good at times, really good defensive line play. I mean, Duke couldn't run the ball all day long, but I just think that they are going to get better. I think Ian Book is going to, have the offense at his disposal. He's going to fling the ball around the field. Of course, they have a slew of running backs they can hand it to. I think this Notre Dame team will be twice as good as what we saw against Duke, and that 24.5, 25.5, that doesn't scare me at all.
All right, that's Dana Lane here. So we're back here on the drive-through Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. More free picks are coming, and we got one right now. Let's bring him in. Rod Zawacki. You'll hear him in the morning with the Mitch crew. Monday mornings, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time with Chris and Brian Bittler and Mitch. Rod, how you doing tonight?
Doing good.
All right. Of course, we saw that Dallas come through for you in that in their NHL, moving on to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, just like we said on Monday's show, Dallas is now they're just sitting and waiting. They're like, all right, let's let you guys beat each other up for a few more games, and we'll just sit and wait for you.
Absolutely, we'll have that Islander Flyer coverage for you tomorrow. So you're going to look at West Coast baseball. Site change for this one: San Francisco and Seattle. The air quality bad. They moved it to San Francisco here for this series. And looking at the lines, we've got Smiley against LeJay Newsome, and the San Francisco lane about $1.60. Total sits at 9 here. I know Seattle has rough time hitting lefties, but how do you see this one?
I see this one for me. Smiley's just coming. He pitched about a week ago or so. He came in relief, pitched 4 innings, looked well. The only blemish on his spot there in those 4 innings, give up a home run. Those were the only runs he gave up. Was striking guys out and was looking pretty good. The last time we saw LeJay pitch against this Giants team, he got hit by a line drive and got taken out. He only got to pitch 1.1 innings. He gave up 2 hits and a run in those 1.1 innings. So for me in this game, because of the site change and the way that the Giants have been hitting at home, which really isn't a home game, but it is a home game, I'm going to take the Giants here on the run line, as they have the 5th best run line in home run line in Major League Baseball. And you get a plus money by taking them on the run line here. Get rid of some of that minus 160 juice.
Absolutely, of course. Even though it's being played in the Giants Park, the Giants will bat in the 9th inning, so that's important to keep a note of. All this confusion going on, Dana, with who's designated home team, even though it's a side change. So you will get 9 at bats here for San Francisco. How did you see this one with the Giants and Mariners?
Yeah, well, you might just get I'm just wondering what Newsome you're going to get, because not only did he get hit, I mean, he got hit by a 100-mile-per-hour ball coming right back that nailed him on the wrist, and this is going to be his first game since then. So, it's kind of up in the air to me.
Facing the exact same team, too. That's
exactly right. So, and then, Brandon Crawford absolutely nailed him. But from a San Francisco standpoint, I don't know how much you want to dive into the history, and I don't put too much into it, but it is interesting. Drew Smiley hasn't exactly had the most success against Seattle in his career. So, I don't know if I want to back a pitcher who's got an ERA over 6, but, certainly you're getting plus $1.35, which that I love taking the plus money in this situation. But I will kind of stay away from this game. There's just too much going on. I don't know if the mindset is let's get the ball and play early and get out of here, which would, speak well to the under in this game, or if it's just going to play it normally. And if it's played normally, then, this could fly over the total. And because there's too many up in the air parameters, there's just too many other games that I feel more comfortable getting involved in.
Rod,
I like the under. I gave the under out on the morning game. That's what I like. I think we're these ERAs. It makes it look like we're gonna fly over the number total here. and I think we're gonna stay under here.
Yeah, I can't argue that because you look at Seattle, they just don't hit lefties. But I would say with a $187 they're hitting. And one thing is to note is how deep Smiley will go into this game. That's something also to keep an eye on. But of course, you got to bring in those left-handed arms here to get some outs from the Seattle Mariners side. All right, Rod, is what you got going on over at Pick Dogs? I know you're doing very well in the NBA, and of course the NBA continues tomorrow with Miami and Boston. I know you'll have a peek at that one. What do you got going on at Pick Dogs?
I still got 3 games left on the MLB card. I got it up as my Hump Day Birdcage up there. My favorite 3 MLB plays on the card tonight. Still available. Still can grab that for $29.95.
All right, guys, check out Rod Zawacki over at Pick Dogs and pick up a package. All right, Rod, it's always great having your show. Have a great night, and we'll listen to you and Mitch, Chris and company, and Brian Bittler. Well, you guys give Bittler a hard time in that show at 10:30 in the morning.
It's the laugh button. I think it's got to be the laugh button.
That's what it is, huh?
Totally the laugh button.
I guess so. The new guy, he gets the new guy treatment on that show.
I think it's that one square. It depends the random square you end up in. If you end up in that one square, you're in trouble.
Oh boy. Different show, guys. Listen to it. A lot of feedback there, and of course, send your comments into Mitch. He will read every one of them. Every one of them, and I mean every one of them. All right,
and every one of them. You bet he will.
All right, Rod. Have a great night. We'll listen to you and watch you in the morning.
You guys have yourself a wonderful evening as well.
All right, that was Rod Zawacki. Check him out over at the Pick Dogs Premium. All right, I want to look at this game. I like this one here. 8 Eastern Time, Minnesota Odorizzi, White Sox, Giolito. White Sox favorite here, $1.45. Total sits here at 8.5. We know this team has been hot, this White Sox team, but Minnesota's seen a lot of Giolito. What say you, Dana, in this one?
Well, we absolutely know why the Chicago White Sox lead the American League Central, and they're 18-3 against teams in their division in the last 21 games. So you do that, and including a pretty successful run against the Twins. I mean, they're on their way, and this is a team that feels it. I mean, to a man, with every interview that you listen to, I mean, they exude confidence. I mean, they could feel winning this division, and not just winning the division, going on and making noise in the postseason. Now, I don't know what they will do when they get on a bigger stage against teams that have pitching depth, but for now, I mean, this is the team. Certainly, it's really hard to root against them. Just because they're, you see the future in front of them. They've beaten Chicago 3-1. They beat them 6-2. Both games going under the total. They've extended their lead in the division to 3 games. They've won 22 of the last 27 games. It is really hard to go against Chicago, and I know Minnesota's got to get one of these games, but do you get in front of a freight train? And this is a White Sox games that team that's won 14 of 15 at a guaranteed rate field. They lead the American League in multiple offensive categories, including batting average. I mean, this is a team that hits almost 280. I mean, I don't know how you go against a team that's hitting 280. They 80 home runs on the year, 811 OPS. I mean, it's very difficult to go against them. Odorizzi comes off the IL to make this start. I don't know if this is exactly where Toronto or Minnesota wants him. But I'd love to have him at least get a game under his belt before I felt comfortable with backing him tonight. So it would be Chicago, and I also, until I can rely on Minnesota to start putting up some runs, which sounds funny coming out of anybody's mouth. I'm just going to keep on going under, and if you go 8.5, you get even money on that, and I know. Look, you want to grab that 9, and I get it. But as far as building that bankroll, I'd rather have the even money at 8.5 than get the 9 at minus $1.20. Because honestly, if you think it's going to go over or under at 8.5, or at 9, then you still should be in that same boat at 8.5, and you're getting better money, and that's called managing your bankroll.
Absolutely. Okay, yeah, White Sox there, a case for the White Sox. And another case here for the White Sox, the fact that if Odorizzi doesn't go deep in this game, the Twins' bullpen ERA over 5 on the road. All right, we continue here on the drive-through Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. A lot more free picks coming. We got baseball on the docket here. And let's go ahead and bring in one of the Puck Dogs. You listen to him at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time with Mitch and Company. It's Chris Ruffalo. Chris, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, especially after Denver saved my hide last night, man. I'll tell you, that was something I still can't even believe that we saw a collapse that bad from the Clippers. But you know what? Just goes to show you that some of these teams have resolve even with their backs up against the wall 3-1. I mean, these guys are still professionals. They still have a lot of pride, and it'll be interesting to see how they go up against the Lakers now.
Yeah, that's right. It should be an interesting series. Lakers a huge favorite there to win the series. Last I checked, it was 6.5 points there in Game 1. Of course, people are going to say, "Well, we saw Denver in Game 1 really struggle, in their series." But yeah, looking at that Clippers collapse, it was just terrible. We'll see what the fallout is. But we move on here. A lot of people favoring the Lakers out of the West, but that East final. Pretty tight here. A pretty good play there by Jimmy Butler and defensively Adebayo. That was pretty strong there to win that game in overtime.
Yeah, that was one heck of a block. I think I might have watched that block on repeat about 6 or 7 times. But if I could touch back on the Denver series just for 1 second, I think that Denver's probably going to get a little bit more credit, at least on my end, just because they had to go to war in Game 7 against the Jazz in that last series. And then we saw them kind of come out slow against the Clippers. I think you're going to see a better effort from the Nuggets this time around. At least they kind of coasted through that fourth quarter. They were hitting shots. They were full of confidence. And I think they're going to give the Lakers a run. And as far as the Heat series goes, that's going to be a war. I can see that easily going 7 games.
They're absolutely joined here by Chris Ruffalo here on the drive-thru. You're going to come in with a play tonight from the Texas Rangers. You're going to Texas here, Texas and Houston in that rivalry series. We've got Texas dogs here. We've got Houston laying 220, total 9. You got Lance McCullers Jr. on the hill against Kyle Gibson. Boy, he's tough to back here. What are you looking at in this one? I kind of have a feeling I know where you're going on this one.
Well, I left my cowboy hat upstairs, and you can't see below the camera. I've got some chaps on as well. But as far as this game goes, I mean, what can we say? That the Rangers continue to struggle on the road. 4-17. This Texas team they love playing in their new stadium so much that they just really don't want to leave. As far as Houston goes, they're not living up to what a lot of people had pegged them to do earlier in the season. They're sitting around 500 for the majority of the last couple of weeks. But as far as this game goes, Lance McCullers is not normally a guy I'm trying to back, especially when he hasn't pitched in almost 2 weeks after having to get a injection in his neck to anti-inflammatory for a nerve issue. But Texas 1-12 in the last 13 trips to Houston, 3-14 in the last 17 meetings. Gibson's got an 0-3 record with an 8.10 ERA in his last 5 starts. I got to go with Houston on the run line just to get that juice down. And I could even make a play of up to -2.5 to try to get into the plus money. I just think Houston needs this win more to try to, make a statement and help boost their playoff position. And Texas is going nowhere fast. And I think this one's going to be a beatdown from start to finish. So give me the Astros here.
Astros run line. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Astros run line. I think you can even make an alternate run line to about -2.5 as well. Get that into plus money.
Yeah, I'm on the run line here with Houston. Gibson, 10% walk rate. He's been hammered. Dana, how do you see this one?
Well, I don't want anything to do with either one of these pitchers, and I would certainly be on his side as well if I was going to play this. I mean, one note, Altuve has returned from injury, but then as soon as he returns, Carlos Correa takes one off the ankle, so it doesn't look like it's anything more than a bone bruise. But this is an Astro team that's kind of been, at times spinning their wheels. At times they look like, they'll be contenders to win another World Series. But between McCullers, who, as you mentioned, hasn't pitched since getting the nerve irritation and a shot in the neck, even in his last outing, it didn't record an out. So I need to know what I'm getting out of him first. And then with Kyle Gibson, his 8 ERA over his previous 5 starts is nothing I want to get involved with either. But again, you got 2 negatives here. Maybe that equals a positive, and maybe if you can get a 9 or I think it's a 9, but you might be able to find a 9.5 in some places. Yeah, maybe go under in this, but I think it's going to be a blowout that doesn't favor the Rangers scoring a lot of runs in this. I could see a 7-1, 6-1 game. And it going under the total, but also getting the run line win for Houston.
Absolutely. Chris, did you look at some of the home road splits for McCullers? I know he's coming off an injection, but at home, ERA under 2, WHIP of 8.89, and 4 home starts.
I mean, we could also say the same for Kyle Gibson. You know, you look at his home record, 0-5 with an ERA around 7, and he goes on the road. It's not much better, 1-0 with an ERA just under 5. I just think, you know what, McCullers likes the confines of Minute Maid Park, whether he's hurt or not. Maybe that gives him a little bit of a boost, knowing that he's got some of that home cooking going on. And Gibson's just been shelled wherever he pitches. It doesn't seem to matter. So I think that plays into it a little bit for me, but also that the Rangers haven't been hitting well on the road. So they have a 210 batting average as a team on the road this season. Houston's at least hitting a little bit better, around 250 at home. I just think that those 40 percentage points are going to be a big difference here, and that's why I'm going towards the run line in this one. I see it being a difference of a couple runs at least.
All right, Chris, last 30 days you've been smoking, man. Over nearly 1,600 units of profit. But near in the top of the hour. What do you have going on right now over at Pick Dogs?
I still have my Wednesday walk-off 5-pack going in MLB. I'm loving those games tonight. I had to really zero in. I tell Mitch all the time, I'm horrible with self-editing, it's, you know, me and a kid in a candy store is bad enough as it is. Look at me. I mean, I could probably buy my own candy store if I wanted to, but this 5-pack tonight I'm really liking, and $29.95 at the website. You can't go wrong with any of the stuff any of the guys have up tonight, but that's what I got.
All right, Chris, we'll be looking for you over at Pick Dogs Premium. Have a great night. We'll listen for you in the morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the morning show with Mitch and company. Be a little easy on Bitler for us tomorrow, man.
You know, it's only like that until the next guy comes in, and then once the next guy comes in, he'll be the one that's going to get the button treatment and whatnot. Just quickly, if I could, I promised this on the morning show today. Just 2 quick picks for the U.S. Open. I'll go in more in depth with them tomorrow. Patrick Reed at plus 3,500 and Xander Schauffele at plus 1,400 is an outright winner.
Awesome. There, that's Chris Ruffalo. Listen to the morning show. I'll go more in depth with the U.S. Open golf coverage. All right, Chris, it's always great having your show. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Gentlemen, thank you for having me. Have a good night.
All right, everybody, Chris Ruffalo here on the drive-thru. All right, let's turn it back over to Joe. Joe, let's look at some of these line moves. Can we squeeze a play out of you, a lean out of you tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what. I want to go over a couple of line movements, and I want to go over a common mistake people make in week 2 of football. Right now, college football hasn't moved too much. We've seen the line dropping on the FAU game on the Owls from 5.5 down to 1.5, and a little bit of money moving SMU up here in Vegas. The pros, we've seen a little more movement. I want to talk about the Ohio title game, guys. You know, the Bengals-Browns matchup. That's gone up over 3.5 points on the total to 43.5. The Steelers line has gone up several points from up to 7, and I even see 7.5 in some places. The Titans, they've dropped a few points from the opener. They opened 11. They're down to 9 right now, and I even see 8.5s around. And you can bet your butt that teams that looked good last week, the lines are going to go up. I'm talking about teams like the Chiefs and the Ravens, for example. Be careful this week, guys. A common week 2 football mistake. A lot of people judge their criteria for their current week's bets on last week's performances. I'm not going to say don't put some stock in how a team played last week, but don't fully say, well, this team played like bunk. I got to go against them. This team played good. You've got to take quite a few other angles into consideration. Don't fall in that trap. Do your due diligence, guys. Be careful because I'm going to tell you why. Especially in the NFL this week, a lot of these numbers are flirting with or right on hot numbers. You're going to see a lot of these signs around the 3s, the 6s, and the 7s. Be careful here. I want to tell you, you want a couple of maybe leans? I can tell you right now, without doing like a ton of homework, I can tell you right now just something that leaps out of me on Sunday, and then I'll jump back to Saturday because this really leapt out of me right away, is the Vikings plus the points. It leapt out of me. I just think that, after last week's letdown, especially playing a team that I don't think is as good as people think they are in Indianapolis. They don't play in the toughest division. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think they're as good as people think. And I think Minnesota comes out swinging this week. That's without doing any real homework onto that game. But a couple of games that do stand out, I can tell you. App State, I gave them out on the show last week as a free play. My only free play loss in I don't know how many weeks. And I will tell you this. I think they come back again. Come back this week. They outclass Marshall There's a good lean there. I mean, I can tell you, Dana said something about Notre Dame. I think on paper, Notre Dame should shellac South Florida. A few things, and this is why I'm staying away from this game this week, that bothers me about this game. There's a few things I saw they didn't shake all the rust out, and you're going to see that in the first few weeks of the season. They are clearly a better team. On paper, they're better. I think 26 is a lot. I can tell you, if you really want some other leans, I'm being honest, Friday I'm going to give you a bunch of leans. I know that there are a lot of smart money people coming on that Charlotte. They love taking that 29.5 against North Carolina, but North Carolina, you got to be careful there. They can light it up. I know there's going to be money on the Houston-Baylor game. Oklahoma State might be a lean for me. Honestly, I see them at 23 right now. I see them. They got to come out, no pun intended, guns blazing. But I think there's a couple of games on the board on the college board that are dogs that will win outright, and I will be more in detail on the Friday 3 p.m. show here at Pick Dogs. On the Sunday, I think Sunday, there's a couple of dogs here that look outright winners also. There's a couple of small favorites that look pretty good. But as Dana mentioned the other day, he likes to wait until maybe at least into Thursday. You've got to really wait for things to subside because you've got to anticipate. If you're going to put out games this early, you've got to anticipate the line moves, which I do. But I will tell you, if I'm going to put up games on the website by tomorrow, I will wait till tomorrow morning and do my due diligence. You will see some movement. You will see some things. And you've got to wait, as Dana said brilliantly, wait till the dust settles. You might get some injury information. And God knows, in today's specific health crisis, we don't know what the heck is going to happen from day to day, let alone minute to minute. So do your due diligence. I will have some more leans on Friday, and you make sure to follow these free picks. I don't just give throwaway games on here, Tony and Dana. I give games that I really think are going to win. I'm not one of them guys, take this game because it's free, but go buy my other stuff. I'm going to give out games that I really do feel strongly about here on the Pick Dog Show because I want the masses to win, and I want them to follow me and go buy the regular plays. But I'll be honest with you, Chris just said something that like brilliant, like Dana just said. He said, you're not going to go wrong following any of the guys on Pick Dogs, but I do want you to follow me. No, we're going to have a lot of fun this season, but no, week 2, people fall into a trap. Don't just judge your week 2 bets on what happened in week 1. You've got to look a little deeper than that.
Absolutely. That's Joe DeMickle here on the Drive-Thru Show every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. More picks coming, and let's go ahead and bring him in. You'll find him over at Pick Dogs. Pretty good start to the NFL season. El Ninos, El, how you doing today?
Doing good. Celebrating my little one's 9th birthday. So happy birthday, Declan, and hoping to get him maybe another extra present tonight if this little play comes through. I mean, tomorrow if this little play comes through. So, yeah, let's get to it.
All right, let's get to it. All right, you're looking at the Get Out game tonight. We're going to look at beauty. We got the Arizona Diamondbacks at the LA Angels. Smith against Bundy. And, of course, the Angels going to be laying some wood here, laying about 205. Total sits here at 9. Arizona got off to a fast start. Maybe they were right. It was a double-digit total for a reason in that game. We were shaking and we were scratching our heads yesterday. But Caleb Smith will be on the hill for the Diamondbacks. Your thoughts on this one, Al?
Yeah, as you said, not the prettiest game on the board, but I think we got a good shot to make some decent money here. 2 pretty disappointing teams so far this season. And Arizona's really struggled, but they've won 3 of their last 5, so that's not bad there. Smith's only pitched 3 innings in each of his 2 starts this season. We've seen him pitch well before, and the Angels, they've got some big names in their lineup, but again, very disappointing team this year. They did pick up their play a bit lately, but again, dropped one yesterday. And I don't still be a reason to back them at minus 200, at least that's for sure. I know I wasn't a big fan of the Diamondbacks before, but I think close to getting plus 200 there with them is definitely worth a shot. Not as crazy about this pick as my last 2 picks, but again, I think it's worth a shot. And I think Caleb Smith can keep him in this game and give him a chance to win. And so I'm taking a shot on the Diamondbacks here.
Dana, Angels, I know it's a long shot for playoff hosts, but it was just a crushing blow to lose that game to Arizona. Their playoff chances now to make the playoffs 1%.
Yeah, it's not. They're not going to make the postseason. This game is on the board tonight for me, so I'll just briefly touch on it. And I like Al's thinking. I mean, you're clearly, I think, not getting the better of the two teams. I mean, this is a Diamondback team that's around minus 50 run differential, which is close to being, if not the worst in Major League Baseball. But, if you listen to Torey Lovullo talk about, his team and where they're at. And, sometimes you'll listen to managers and you can just get a feeling that, their team is not, mentally there. But I don't get that feeling from him. In fact, some people inside the organization are saying, what, the coaches are even working harder that they might have been in the beginning of the season. And that to me is a real positive. That's telling me there's a good vibe around the team. That's a team I can back financially. And again, we're trying to build bankroll here. It's not, especially when you're talking about baseball, it's not always about the W's, because I'll take 50. If you tell me I'm going to hit 55%, I'm going to lose money over the long term, unless they're all underdogs, which we know they're not. But I like this situation where you're getting close to 200. Ohtani will not be in the lineup, of course, because he's facing a left-hander, so you have that to also factor in. I'm not on the side on this, but if I was, I really like where Al is going. I do have a play on the total on the website, so please make sure you get involved in that.
All right, Al. One thing I noticed about Torey Lovullo, he doesn't argue enough. I mean, he gets on. He's always on the wrong side of some 50-50 calls, some bad strikes, and that goes against his players. But what are you going to add to that?
Yeah, Anyway, I just wanted to add real quick that Bundy's having a great season. Obviously, I don't want to take that away from him, but he's never had a season with an ERA under 4. So, I mean, I don't think he keeps up these numbers too long. So, again, really not as crazy about it as my last 2 picks, but I do like taking a little shot on the Diamondbacks tonight.
All right, Al, good start in the NFL for you. I want to let everybody know what you have going on at Pick Dogs as we hit the top of the hour.
Yeah, I got a couple of baseball plays left tonight, and have some NFL plays I made, and I have one NBA play out already, and just waiting for the right number on the second one.
You're waiting for the right number on the second one, and of course, we got to mention your Lakers. You must have been loving life to see that those Clippers go down.
I do like the matchup against the Nuggets a bit better. Although, you can't count them out, obviously. They've proven that. But yeah, I do like our chances against the Nuggets better. Not that I was too worried about the Clippers, but again, it's always kind of scary going up against Kawhi and George. So, yeah.
All right, that's Al Nino. It's always great having your show. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to Al tomorrow.
All right, have a good one, guys.
All right, that was Al. Nino's joining us here. All right, we're going to go look at this game in baseball. We got the Game 2 matchup between the Cardinals and Brewers. It'll be Suter. It looks like a bullpen game for the Brewers. Oviedo, I guess he passed his COVID test. He got his 7th negative, yeah. So he's number 2 starter, but he's a big dog here. I'm seeing $1.65 on Milwaukee with the bullpen game.
Well, for me, Tony, I mean, I'm not getting involved in this game at all. I mean, I just, are you going to get, is Christian Yelich finally coming out of his slump? He was in a 1-for-18 slump and then, homered and had 3 hits yesterday so I just, we've talked about this 1,000 times with the Brewers. We have no idea what kind of offensive effort we're going to get from them. I mean, we've seen explosions from this team, but most of the year we've seen underachievement. And when we're talking about getting involved with teams with underachievement, if we're not going in a total, in a direction of betting a total, certainly I don't want anything to do with the side because, again, I really don't know. I said it yesterday. I don't know what the identity of the Brewers are. And really, for that matter, I don't know what the identity of the Cardinals are. So you got 2 of those teams in the same matchup. It's really a no play for me.
All right, continue here on the drive-thru. Tony T joined by Dana Lane and Joe D'Amico. But now it's time. We're going to go on the super speedway and then bring in our NASCAR guy, Jeff Jeter. Jeff, how you doing tonight? I know you're looking forward. We got you on early because you're heading out to Bristol.
Yeah, and that's absolutely correct. I'll be heading to the races here in Bristol this weekend, and can't wait. It's actually going to be weather's going to be absolutely perfect for it for once, and so can't wait.
That's right. Of course, we're looking here at under the lights in Bristol on Saturday. Now, this will be a playoff elimination because the 4 drivers at the bottom after this race will be eliminated.
Yeah, and that's correct. Those 4 drivers are William Byron, Cole Custer, Matt DiBenedetto, and surprisingly Ryan Blaney. So, yeah, these guys are definitely going to be feeling the heat coming, and not only that, but you've got guys such as Clint Boyer, Kurt Busch, and Eric Almirola sitting there just ahead of him on the bubble too. So, depending upon how the race goes, and trying to avoid those wrecks and all the variables that come with Bristol. It's definitely going to be something to watch, and great to have the opportunity to be able to see this in person.
Absolutely. Of course, it's a half-mile track, so you better have some good driving skills. And I'm seeing the favorites, all household names: Logano, Hamlin, Busch in this one, and Keselowski.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we saw Brad Keselowski win at Richmond last weekend. Of course, Richmond's a totally different short track than Bristol. And so, obviously kind of just saw some of the early odds coming out here. Looks like Denny Hamlin's sitting up on top. Rightfully so. He won this race last year, actually edging out Matt DiBenedetto and passing him with about 11 laps to go. So, another guy I'm kind of eyeing this week is also Chase Elliott. I mean, it's kind of quietly been riding around, but he's pretty secure here within the playoffs, so shouldn't have any issue making it. But I think this is going to be a good opportunity for him to win. He had a great car here during the first race in May of this year, and when he came back and just pretty much dominated the All-Star race in June here at Bristol. So I'll be kind of having my eye on that 9 car with Chase Elliott on Saturday night.
Yeah, you got the odds on Chase Elliott. Yeah, because he was in for the run until he had a crash with Logano for that top spot. Then he takes a checkered flag in the All-Star race in July. Do you see any odds on Elliott to win?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think he's one of my favorite plays for the week. I mean, as far as as an outright. For sure. I'm going to be interested to see what his price comes out as a top 5 finish as well. So, but other than that, I mean, the only guy I'm really kind of eyeing that would be more of a fade play would be Martin Truex Jr. I mean, if you go and look at his odds, I saw a couple shops at him around plus 14, plus 1,600. And there is a reason behind that. I mean, Truex has not finished in the top 10 at Bristol since 2012. And that's just unbelievable as to how good of a team he's with now and the teams that he's been with in the past. And so he's just struggled at Bristol. Now, not to say that he couldn't go out here and do that on Saturday night, but again, he's securely getting through to that next round. And so I guess we'll just see what happens. But I'm very cold on Martin Truex Jr. this weekend.
Now, one of the horse for course angles I like to call, a driver that's hot at the track is Kyle Busch. I've seen that he's won 8 times at Bristol, and in his last 6 races over Bristol, all top 5 finishes.
Yeah, and actually, Kyle's he's actually gotten in early race accidents and been able to still drive through the field and be in position to win 2 times. Here pretty recently. With a crumpled up race car. And so he's just unbelievable here at Bristol. And so, yeah, he'll definitely be right there in the mix with some guys I'll be eyeing this weekend. It's been good to see him, Kyle Busch, that is, kind of come on here. I mean, he's definitely had his struggles here in 2020, but I think this team is starting to gain momentum here pretty well here as we start to enter the next round of the playoffs. And so it's good that we're coming to Bristol because he's 9th, so he's almost in that little bubble range where anything goes wrong, man, it could definitely bump him out.
Absolutely. All right, Jeff, I know you're going to be looking at the truck race on Friday. You'll have a pick for us from that race, and also Xfinity will be going Friday, but you're looking at the truck race.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on some of the truck odds to come out. One book already had up their matchups, and so what I was looking at was Matt Crafton at -115 over Ben Rhodes at -115. It's a lean to Crafton. This is a pretty even matchup, just based on what I've seen and here as of recent, and as well as track history here at the Bristol Motor Speedway for both of these drivers. I'll give the lean to Crafton with his experience. He's never won a truck race at Bristol, so I think Crafton, that's something he's even said in some post-race interviews. Man, this is a track he really wants to win at. So I kind of give the edge to him in that matchup. But other than that, I will be able to be available, for the morning shows coming up this week, and so I'll be on tomorrow morning, and we'll kind of dig a little more into the truck race as we get odds and all that good stuff out for you.
That's right. Here we'll pop into the morning show at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. You hear him a lot on the weekends, but you may pop in if that Xfinity races or the Truck Series that got to play for you there for the Friday. He'll get you there for the Friday morning show. All right, Jeff. I know you're over at Pick Dogs. I know you're dangling some of the other major sports, but we're focusing here on NASCAR. What you going to have up there for the visitors over to Pick Dogs Premium?
Yeah, and I've got first off, I've got my 3-day pass. If you want to just take it for a spin over there on the Pick Dogs website, and I'll be getting the picks in here, as the odds come out. And I've also, the better value out of it is the playoff package that's over for sale. They get you all of my NASCAR picks for the rest of the 2020 season. So that's kind of my two main focuses there. And also got, the football and all that good stuff over there as well. So.
All right, Jeff, as always, great to have on your show. We'll be looking for you over at the Pick Dogs Premium. Have fun at the track tonight, this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you guys for having us, and good luck tonight and this weekend.
All right. Thank you very much. Jeff Jeter here on the drive-through. You can listen and find Jeff over in the morning show. You may pop in there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. We're back here on the drive-through. I'm Tony T, joined by Joe D'Amico, Dana Lane. Now it's time for my free pick. I'm going to go over to the NFL. It's a divisional game between Panthers and Bucks. I'm going to take the 9 or 9.5 if you shop with the Carolina Panthers. They're going to improve from their week one. A loss to the Raiders. Their offense showed the ability to move the football. Teddy Bridgewater did complete 22 of 34, 270 yards. And don't forget, he's got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. Now, I'm not down on Tom Brady, but he's just not a mobile quarterback. He struggled in the pocket, was sacked 3 times, 2 picks. Bucks running game didn't help him too much. But you know what? I'm going to take the Panthers showing the ability to score. I'm going to take the 9.5 points there with the Carolina Panthers. And Dana, what were your thoughts here on Tom Brady showing there with Tampa in their loss to the Saints?
It really wasn't any surprise. I mean, it's every year we go into the season, and I'm not saying that Tom's going to have a bad year or anything like that, but it is quite the transition to not have Bill Belichick on the sideline. And I know, Gronkowski is there, but it's a completely different thing for him. And now he hasn't seen anything brand new since he took over at Michigan. I mean, this is every year we go into the NFL season with a team that's a sexy team. Last year it was Cleveland. Completely you could rip up your Super Bowl tickets. This year it's Tampa Bay. I think you rip up your Super Bowl tickets again. I mean, it has to have been, outside of, a lot of New England wasn't ever really the, everybody's looking for that team that's going to knock the top dog off the pedestal. So New England never really went into a season as the overwhelming pick by the public because everybody was looking for somebody new. So, but it just seems like every single year there's that one team that everybody's in love with, and every single year they disappoint. And I really don't think it's going to be any different for Tampa Bay.
Joe, we saw Arians take a shot at Brady, but, I really think Brady might have came into Tampa Bay saying, listen, don't give me any special treatment. Treat me like everyone else. So how do you look into that with Tom Brady, that week 1 defeat?
Well, to be honest with you, Tom Brady's always going to get special treatment. He's Tom Brady. But I will tell you, I agree with Dana a lot. Is Tampa Bay a better team with Tom Brady? Probably. Are they a Super Bowl team? By no means. As soon as he went to that team, we saw the odds on them just plummet. I mean, and I don't know why. They're still not a great team. People forget last year, New England, who has been the team to beat for 17 years, 18 years, had a top 5 defense in every department. So when a defense keeps an offense off the field, your offense is going to eat away from the opponent's defense. They're going to keep them on the field. And Tom Brady had some other things. And that to go back with what Dana said, when you have Bill Belichick on a sideline, it changes everything. Everybody loves to hate this guy. I hate him. I don't like him. I wouldn't sit down and have a meal with him. But when he's on a football field, I take note because he is a difference maker. He was a difference maker before he took over the reins at New England. He's a difference maker now. And I'll tell you what, now that Tom Brady's gone, the team isn't going to fall apart. They're still going to win games. They're still a very good team. That probably it's between them and Buffalo. People are saying we'll take the division. But I will tell you, I don't think that Tom Brady coming down there is going to be like the second coming. I don't believe so. I don't think it's going to change too much. But you are going to see Tom Brady get some special treatment. He's Tom Brady. It's going to happen. There's no avoiding it. No matter where he plays, he's going to get some special treatment. I wish him well. I really do. I don't think we'll ever see another quarterback win as many rings as he has. I don't think we'll ever see that again. And I do wish him well. And he's arguably the best quarterback of this generation. If you're going to go by success, he is without question the best quarterback of the generation. But I'll still take the old Italian guy, Joe Montana.
All right, that's Joe DeVico here joining us and joined by Danny Lane here on The Drive-Thru. We're here every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Picks throughout the show tomorrow. We'll have picks from the Thursday night game, Cincinnati and Cleveland. Hey, bad football is better than no football. We'll also have NHL. We'll also have the NBA, the East Finals. So we got a lot to talk about. We'll have a lot of picks tomorrow. We'll definitely give big coverage to those three big events, and we'll have picks on those. All right, let's bring out the pick dogs. Let's give a wave to the crowd, to our viewing audience. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.
Well, guys.